our 2021 Fab Lab Virtual Fundraiser Brunch started. So to kick off the event for us, we're going to have Dr. Gustavo Arriaga, who is the president of our board of directors and also my co-founder of Fab Lab, give us a bit of an intro. So, right, Dr. Arriaga, take it away.
Here we are 2 years later and still can't unmute before talking on a Teams call. So thanks, Kathy, for the intro. I'm not sure if I've met all of you yet, so just brief intro. As Kathy mentioned, co-founder of Fab Lab El Paso, former co-director, Kathy's lesser half, and one-person Fab Lab hype team. And it's a pleasure to be here with everybody for the 2021 Fab Lab Fundraiser Brunch. I hope everybody is enjoying the treats from the gift box. As they mentioned earlier, they're fantastic. I am double dosing on caffeine right now with the chocolate covered espresso beans and the cold brew, which I'm drinking straight from the can like a savage, not from the fancy Fab Lab cup. So apologies, but it's really good cold brew if you haven't tried it. So the last time we got together like this was pre-Rona 2 years ago. It seems like an eternity at this point. We got together in that fancy hotel in person, did a really nice lunch. Fast forward 2 years and we're still living in a virtual world. So thanks everybody for joining us from wherever you are and taking the time today to be with us to celebrate all of the awesome things that have happened in and around the Fab Lab since we last got together. I just want to take a moment.
We can unmute ourselves. Good morning. The silence was killing me.
Oh, good morning. Yeah. The
the
little microphone icon is where you mute and unmute.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi everybody. It's because I see a lot of people I know here.
Hi.
I see Dr. Acosta and Dr. Horak and Hector Reina and Miguel Moreno. Hi everybody.
Hello.
I'll mute myself when I have to, but you know, it's really quiet in this meeting. How come you guys aren't talking? You could unmute yourselves. Just double click on the microphone.
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't think she can hear us.
Yeah. I think your audio might not be working. I'll send her a message.
Okay.
I'll text her right now.
Okay. Before we jump into everything, I just want to take a quick minute to acknowledge and celebrate all the wonderful people who are behind all of the awesome things that have been happening at the Fab Lab over the last couple of years. So Kathy, the fearless leader and director, Michael, the director of education programs, and all the volunteers, all of the staff, the engineers, the people who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make all of this awesome stuff happen every single day, and just their tireless commitment to moving the whole region through a period of rapid digital transformation. So let's take a minute to just give them a round of applause, either virtually or with our physical hands. We still remember how to use those. You can also do a little virtual clap. There's an awesome feature. Let me see. Boom, there we go. Look at that. Awesome. All right. So thanks, everybody. I know everybody here and the region as a whole really appreciates everything that you continue to do and have been doing over the years to move everything forward. You know, that really started at the beginning of this whole Rona period. I think we can think back, you know, when everything was kind of going crazy and nobody knew what was going on, case numbers were rising, PPE was in short supply. Fab Lab really spearheaded an effort to jumpstart the local production of PPE that was needed to slow the community spread of the virus, which was an amazing moment. Really inspiring to see the whole region come together to put so many critical resources together, right? And that included things like actual physical materials to make filtered masks, the manufacturing capacity that Fab Lab had put in place, and the knowledge to bring all of that together to fight a common cause, right? And it's important, those things happen. We're like, wow, that's amazing. But it's important to keep in mind that that doesn't happen spontaneously, right? It took years for the Fab Lab crew to lay the foundation for an effort like that to be able to spring up seemingly overnight. And they continue doing that work of foundation building, really building the critical skills, the critical digital skills and the foundational knowledge for efforts like that and so many more, moments that seem like magic to happen. But it's really the end result of years and years of effort from this crew. So again, I want to celebrate them and everything that they do and their tireless efforts, being at the forefront of preaching the virtues of digital skilling and digital transformation, which now seems like, yeah, of course, we all need digital skills. We all need to live in a digital world. But 2 years ago, before the pandemic, like not everybody was on board, right? And they've been preaching this gospel for years and years and years since we opened doors back in what seems like forever ago in 2013. So thanks again for everything that you do and you continue to do, which is to use the power of accessible digital skills to move the region forward in art, technology, skilling, and education. They've held countless virtual workshops since the pandemic started so that students can continue to learn. We've heard so much about learning loss, right, and the gaps that have been uncovered in the education system at large. And they've been working, they transitioned really rapidly to a virtual environment and kept the educational programs out of the Fab Lab going almost without interruption, so that students could continue to learn, which is amazing. They've supported regional and international artists who continue to bring us joy and beauty in a time when we're all seemingly suffering, perpetual loss and mourning. They produced an award-winning film, which you will all get to see today, that highlights a story about coming of age as a Latina on the border and overcoming struggle through mutual support. Which is a really important topic for all of us when we're feeling disconnected by quarantining at home for 2 years. And hopefully that will end soon. And most importantly, they continue to remind us that the future has to be invented, right? The future of this region and of the world at large isn't just going to happen. It has to be created and somebody has to build it, right? And they remind us that we can cultivate the power to participate ethically, responsibly, and democratically in that act of creation right here at home. To quote the world-renowned philosopher Chicharito Hernandez, imaginémonos cosas chingonas, right? And they remind us that we can continue to dream big and imagine awesome things. And with that, I will introduce Sherry Lassiter to talk about all the awesome things that are going on beyond just Fab Lab El Paso and the Fab Lab network at large. Sherry is the CEO and president of the Fab Foundation, one of the architects of the MIT Global Initiative for Field On-Site Technology Development. We all know that Fab Labs are awesome places for rapid prototyping, technical education, digital skilling, innovation, and most of all, personal and community expression. The network includes over 2,000 now Fab Labs, these digital fabrication facilities in over 126 countries. Amazing growth in the size of the Fab Lab network. Sherry is the president, again, of the Fab Lab Foundation, which is a nonprofit committed to building technical capacity, improving individuals' abilities to develop themselves and their communities, and bring access to tools and knowledge that cultivate and support innovative practices. She is currently engaged in enabling grassroots technology development by and for the community, which is something that we are all very familiar with and know and love. And with that, I will turn it over to Sherry to tell us more. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Dr. G. I just I wanted to tell you what an honor and a pleasure it is to be here today, and just to shout out to Kathy, to Dr. G, to Michael, and to the whole team there at Fab Lab El Paso. You know, you may feel like you're in a small community, but I have to say you are inspiring a global community with the work that you're doing in education and in outreach. And so congratulations, and keep it up. It's just amazing what you're up to. So I think I would like to share my screen, and let's see, I'm going to, there we go. All right, and because I can't see you, Kathy, you'll have to be sure to let me know if anybody has any questions. At any rate, as Dr. G said, I am here representing the Fab Foundation today, and also where we came from, the MIT Center for Bits and Atoms. And this is really about the future. This is about where we see the future and what's going on now that is laying the roadmap for the future of all of us. So for those of you who don't know, and my understanding is that not everybody is really familiar with the network, but Fab Labs really came out of MIT's Center for Bits and Atoms. So we got a grant in 2001 from the National Science Foundation to really merge physical science and computer science. So, you know, that comes into play when you're building a smart building, for instance, right? And you have millions of parts that have to be programmed, that have to be made, that have to be debugged when something goes wrong, or you have to problem solve when something goes wrong. And so Professor Gershenfeld, you know, got this grant, interdisciplinary grant, to really study that boundary. And as part of that grant, he's created this digital fabrication facility, this amazing digital fabrication facility that allowed anybody anywhere to make almost anything that they could imagine. And so as part of this NSF grant, we created Fab Labs, which is a small subset of what we do at the MIT Media Lab in terms of design and fabrication. And if you look at a Fab Lab, it's just like what you see in El Paso, right? It's this wonderful space that has prototyping tools, design tools, programming and electronics, all of those things together, which create an environment that allows you to make pretty much anything that you can imagine. And since we started in 2001, we have, as Dr. G said, about 2,000 labs in 126 countries. And so you are part of this global community, which is more than just a community of people who have machines, right? It's not really about so much the machines as it is about what we do together with those machines. So we are a global community of practice, and we use technology as our platform for change and our platform for social impact and outreach. And that's exactly what El Paso is doing, as you know, in your own community. For the Fab Foundation, we really are putting together public and private partnerships for national and global impact. So the things that you do locally, we are trying to amplify globally. And we have a bill in Congress right now, both in the House and in the Senate, to make Fab Labs and maker spaces really a part of every community, so that everyone can have this kind of education, can participate in the process of innovation, of technology creation, and that, you know, you can make your communities resilient through these kinds of tools and processes. One of the things that we're doing, as you see up in the right-hand corner, is we are you know, we're really embracing the UN's sustainable development goals, because we feel like it's going to take the mind share of the planet to really solve these problems. And places like El Paso and the Fab Lab in the middle of rural India and the Fab Lab here in Boston, all of those spaces are going to be, and all of you are going to be required to solve those global challenges. And you know, the network really is embracing this. There's a real effort across the globe to kind of harmonize and put our projects and our products into the service of the UN sustainability goals. Both Professor Gershenfeld, who really, this is, you know, Fab Labs are sort of the brainchild of Professor Gershenfeld, and Tom Khalil as well, who was formerly with the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. They both, you know, talk about the fact that technology and the technology innovation is extremely important, but it's really about how they address societal needs, right? How it's not necessarily just about personal expression. It's not about tinkering. It's really about the social impact that we can have as creators of our own technology and our own technological future. And so that's the direction that we're thinking about, and that's kind of the work that we're doing. And so we work in the education sector, so the .edu. We work in the social impact sector, the .org, and we also work in the commercial sector, the .com. And what we're trying to do is help these networks, this network of makers and fabricators, really reach its potential to have the kind of social impact that can change, the world, but can also help your local community be self-resilient, right? And so let me talk just very, very briefly about education. So one of the things that we do in education, sorry, I don't think I want you to hear this. There we go. Anyway, we at MIT, Professor Gershenfeld and a few colleagues started this class called How to Make Almost Anything. And this was back in 1999, I think. And in the course of like 12 weeks, you would learn all the tools and processes of digital fabrication. And then you would end up doing a capstone project that would kind of show your mastery. And in the Fab Academy, what we did is we repackaged that amazing MIT course, but for a global network. So it's the whole network is a distributed campus, and each Fab Lab is a classroom in this campus. And Professor Gershenfeld or whomever is teaching that week will go online and will teach in an online platform like this. And all of the Fab Labs participate. They have a local guru, and they can talk to each other and help each other through this sort of technology innovation program. And it's been very impactful. It's creating job opportunities for people, because these skill sets are so important in the 21st century economy and to so many businesses now, that, you know, we have a cadre of people who are getting hired before they can even finish the course or finish college. But also this is where new products come from. Many of our students end up putting their capstone projects on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or those kinds of platforms in order to fund a new product that will go to market. And so this has been a very impactful kind of education. And we've started to map that down into K through 12. We have this experimental project called Scopes, which is scaling a community of practice for education in STEM using digital fabrication. And so this is an online platform for teachers and for educators worldwide. You upload good lessons and curricular activities. They're tied to either national standards or fabrication standards, and you can mix and remix and use these resources for free, sorry. And this, we feel like, helps give a quality education or provide quality education in a very sort of inclusive way. That particular project was funded by Chevron and by GE Foundation. And we're super excited about it. And we really feel that this is important because we are on this threshold of the fourth industrial revolution. Actually, we're not really on the threshold, we're kind of into it now. And this is an era of rapidly developing technologies, developing to the point that they are disrupting our work and our workplace. And we've been working over the last few years, we've worked with the National Governors Association to kind of look at what were the disruptive technologies and what is it that we have to do educationally to prepare all of us for that future work, that future workforce, that future workplace. And in that research, and you'll recognize all of these technologies, these are the technologies that kind of horizontally go across all of the, all industries. So we've got automation and robotics, additive manufacturing and artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things. And if you really look at each one of these, you'll see that each one of them requires all the skill sets that we talk about and that we teach in the Fab Academy, or that we teach in a Fab Lab like El Paso, I'm sure teaches most of these skill sets. And so it's incredibly important that we recognize and embrace that, such that we can create a workforce that will be able to participate in this rapidly evolving, disruptive technology environment. And if we don't address it, then we will leave a lot of people out of the workforce, and we will leave a lot of people behind and not allow or not give them the opportunity to participate in building wealth, in innovating and creating the technology and the solutions for the future. And so we feel like this is really important. On the .com front, I'm not going to say too much. I was telling you about how the Fab Academy, produces a lot of sort of new product and new business opportunity in the network. Some of these projects you'll recognize, like Ultimaker, came out of one of the Fab Labs in the Netherlands, and Smart Citizen, which is a kind of an environmental sensing platform, came out of Barcelona. Form Labs, that whole project came out of MIT's Fab Lab, and so there are wonderful products and businesses emerging all over the world based on digital fabrication and on the skills and the prototyping that you are learning and able to do there in El Paso. One project in particular that I did want to talk about was one out of Puebla, Mexico, where the local university has a Fab Lab, and they are teaching very basic design and fabrication skills to families and family micro enterprises. And they have created an incubator, in essence, for family micro enterprises using digital fabrication. And so far they've incubated 375 family micro enterprises, which has an enormous economic impact in that community. And it's a very, very exciting project that I think we all might want to emulate a bit. So now on the .org side, this is sort of social impact. And this is where a lot of the work that we do, most of the work that we do at the Fab Foundation is. What we try to do is support these projects that emerge globally that the network wants to follow. And so one of the big ones is Fab City. And Fab City isn't about being a smart city. It's very different. It's really about being locally productive, but globally connected. So the idea is I will import a design, a digital design. I'll improve on that design locally. I will manufacture it locally. I will get my supplies locally. I will sell it, distribute it, market it locally, and then I will upload an improved design to share with the global community. So everything happens locally, except for possibly the exchange of design and ideas. And this is a 40-year roadmap. The mayor of Barcelona declared this about 4 years ago. And it really does touch all parts of our life in the city. It touches mobility, it touches money, it touches the way we produce food, the way we produce products, etc. And this is a project that the global community is really gathering around. We've got 41 cities, including Paris, Amsterdam, Boston, as well as a few rural communities in India and other places that are participating in it. Now, this is one that I really love. This is a global project. It's relatively new. It's called Fab Care, and it's very much aligned with you and what you're doing there and the challenge that you've had the last 2 years at Fab Lab El Paso. So this is called Fab Care. It's a network. It was started by Open Dot and Fab Lab Camp Lindfort, and it's really an online community of practice, again, around assistive technologies and healthcare. And what they're doing is they're trying to use open design and open innovation to make assistive technologies affordable and accessible to everyone, everywhere. And what they do is they provide online kind of tools for a toolbox for actually how you make, how you design and make a new product for healthcare, and they kind of give you tips for how you get involved. So there's like a 10-step process for how you can be involved and how you get involved, and then it's a beautiful co-design process that they've framed here. And the products that come out, this on the right side, you'll see there's Glypho, which is really an assistive device for people who can't hold a pen or a pencil, and it allows them to write and draw, etc. And below that picture, you'll see there's this is a very, very simple interface that they've created that allows you to give the parameters of your particular circumstance as a user. And then, and that can be turned now into a file that can be printed or made or fabricated locally, and it's very customized to you. And so these are the kinds of things that FabCare is doing, and it seems like it would be a wonderful idea for you all to collaborate with them, because I think they would be so excited about what you're doing there. We also do humanitarian aid. We've got digital fabrication equipment in refugee camps and places like that all around the world. You know, they're good for, you know, sort of building, building things that people need, but more importantly, they are safe spaces for people, especially young people, to come and learn and grow and spend their time productively in a safe space. And so a lot of humanitarian aid going on. Now, as Dr. G said earlier, Fab Lab El Paso was one of the amazing labs that participated in the COVID-19 response. And what this was a very interesting moment in time, because it really did prove the concept that distributed manufacturing can work. It did, and it showed how these 21st century skills are so important to a community's resilience. We saw all over the world. This is an older production dashboard from open source medical supply, but I think in the end we saw more than 40 million products produced around the world in response to COVID and in response to the broken central supply chain. And so it was a terrible moment in time, but we saw how Fab Labs and maker spaces really rose to the occasion and showed that they are anchors in the community and how they can really help communities be resilient and be self-reliant. Let's see, wrong way. So just very quickly, diversity, equity, and inclusion are extraordinarily important in this work, because for so long, so many have been excluded and left out of creating and co-creating the future of technology and technology development. And so we received a grant from the National Science Foundation, the Includes project, in which what we were trying to do is get started in building a community that will be more inclusive and that will develop approaches, develop products, develop a process that is more diverse and inclusive and equitable in terms of technology, in innovation, in terms of making, in terms of this kind of education. The Field Building Collaborative is what we call it, and it includes Citizen Schools, Digital Promise, the Fab Foundation, Fab Learn, which is out of Teachers College at Columbia University, Maker Ed, and Nation of Makers. And what we did is one of the things, we did many things, but one of the things we did was to create this website where we're starting to tell stories or have people tell their own stories and provide resources, for people who really want to making a more inclusive and equitable activity and process, right? And this is these are just a few of the equity stories. What we're trying to do is have people tell their own stories about their successes and about their challenges so that we can all learn from them. And this is not just happening in the United States. We have a global community that is also doing the same thing, trying to collect these stories and share them so that others can learn and build upon the successes and not may necessarily, have to face some of the same challenges. And so very, very excited about this work. And just very quickly, every year we try to gather everyone not everyone, but many people from the network together in one place. And so we're in our 17th edition of this year. If COVID allows us, we will gather both in person and online in Bhutan, in the Kingdom of Bhutan, to talk about digital fabrication and sustainability and community impact and how you do technology innovation in places that are very far away, very rural, very cut off in many ways from the world. And so, and we invite you, please, to come or participate online because we want to hear your voice and we want to see what you're doing and how that contributes to the global community.
If you could.
Hold on a second. So I don't know if I have any more time. Let me ask you, Kathy, do I have any more time? Do I have 2 minutes to show a video? Or
yes.
Should I okay. Well, so I'd like to just show you really quickly this one video that's really the network talking about itself. And this is my sort of concluding slide. So this is the network, the Fab Lab network. Maybe. Hold on, there we go.
If you could make almost anything, what would you do? I would believe very strongly there's a kind of a dignity in making things. Fabrication is being digital.
Oops, I'm sorry. I think I ended up, hold on a second.
Digitized and becoming personal.
This is the craft of our century.
Fab Labs are about digital fabrication. It means you can design something and then a robotic machine will make it, bring it into life.
It provides the means to create what you consume. It includes a 3D printer, a precision machine that can make electronic circuits.
Fab Labs are in, we believe, about 75 to 80 countries, doubling in size every, say, 12 to 18 months.
Probably the best single toy that mankind has ever invented.
Where can they now make a societal impact, just like it is done in Kenya, Rwanda, India, China, the floating Fab Lab down the Amazon that they're trying?
Putting a Fab Lab in a refugee camp provides creation and bootstrapping.
It fits in a shipping container. It's a pretty cheap and efficient way to build relatively robust housing for refugee scenarios. It's not hard to find people who want to pay for one lab. What's harder is sort of creating the network that makes it all possible. It's been a problem trying to expand the network in Ghana. The more Fab Labs we have in a particular location, the better the chances of reaching people.
Very often we say, oh, the world is moving so fast and everybody, technology is so advanced. It's not advanced everywhere. It's not advanced with everyone.
People who come in as novice are able to capture and make use of the tools and equipment within a short period of time. Fab Labs are used exactly the same everywhere. They're used for play, for entertainment, for education, for creating businesses.
When we introduced the lab, people started trying new things, and now some users, they are making profit out of it.
The person who were in the lab showed me how my drawings can be translated, and we've made a couple of 3D prints. This way I can make my work much larger, and that way I was able to create large-scale permanent public art.
You use it as a space where you can bring divided communities together.
You can connect people to work with Jewish and Arab together, and you see that when you make things, people don't think about religion. They only think about how to make it and collaborate.
As much as anything, the social engineering is almost more important than the technical engineering.
We expect for this to be a vehicle to develop projects that are actually addressing the two big issues that we are facing today. One is the social crisis we have in the inequality of distribution of resources, and also the dependence that we have as consumers of other supply chains.
Give to the people the power to make things, not only to buy it. We like to create the conditions to empower the people and to empower the community.
Aquaponics is self-sufficiency regarding to food. To grow the same lettuce, let's say in conventional agriculture and in aquaponics, you have a difference of 95%, which has a huge impact in the context of resource efficiency.
It's going to get faster, better, cheaper.
Using tools in Fab Labs to build more tools that can do other stranger things.
Commoditizing of those resources that I think is a real game changing.
We should take pride in the technology that we own, that we make, and we should take pride in our own ability to create those things.
If we produce things more locally while we are connected globally, then we'll create a new society.
It doesn't just simply address the root causes of inequality, it really fundamentally changes that discussion from money and jobs to creation.
So thank you. That's it. I'll stop sharing now. Thank you for your time and for listening. And I just want to one more time say how proud we are that Fab Lab El Paso is part of this community and is a leader in this community. So thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you so much, Sherry. It's always such a pleasure to hear from you, and every time it's inspiring, it's motivating, and it just, lights the fire for us to continue to do more for our community and continue to connect our community here on the border with a global dialogue around sustainability and future workforces. So thank you so much. So Sherry, I did want to let you know that on the call today, we actually have some members of an organization from that helped bring online a Fab Lab in Juarez, actually 2 Fab Labs now in Juarez. So this is truly a fundraiser that's a binational effort. And I just wanted to say hello to Ricardo Mora, who has been very instrumental in making those connections on both sides of the border and helping us come together. Thank you, Ricky. Okay, so in light of time, we are going to move on to the next item on our agenda today. So I wanted to introduce to everyone the next segment, which is the documentary film that we started producing back in 2019 and finished and completed in 2021. The film is called Disrupted Borders, and it started as a project that we ideated after the terrible catastrophe that happened, at Walmart with the racist shooting that took place, and kind of just thinking about the issues around identity and technology here on the border. We pulled together resources and got funding support from Tribeca Film Institute, Field of Vision, Austin Film Society, the National Association of Latino Arts and Culture, and they've all come together to support this short documentary project that was produced and incubated at Fab Lab El Paso. So the story is, one that I think really resonates with all of us who live on the border. It's a coming of age story. It's a story about, crossing a lot of borders, whether it's, geographical, biopolitical, geopolitical, or just, more on a scale of just growth and development. So it's a story about 2 young women who live on the border, and it's a story about their friendship at the end of the day. The technology and all of these other elements that come into play, it's really reflective of just how we place ourselves as, members of the border community in this relationship that we have with the greater technology economy that happens around us. So Without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into a 19-minute screening of the film Disrupted Borders. And I forgot one last thing, this film did premiere at Cleveland International Film Fest this year. I believe it was in April of this year, and it won the Jackson Spalding Audience Choice Award. It was subsequently also screened at Philadelphia Latino Film Festival, and also at New Orleans Film Festival most recently, and at El Paso Film Festival, where it won 2 prestigious awards for Best Documentary, and we were awarded a PBS distribution contract through the Real South Film Awards. So this film is now available and streaming on PBS as well. So, all right, I'm gonna jump right in now into my screen sharing. Let's see here. Okay. Oops. I apologize. Of course, this all worked perfectly when we were testing it. There we go.
Throughout my whole life, I was taught that I could do what I wanted. But, you know, it was like I knew I had to get from point A to point B, but I didn't know how to get there. Like, I know I shouldn't let my disability limit me, but how? My art was just a way to get me to step out of my comfort zone in a way. That's when I discovered that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be an artist.
I love to build robots. I've been building robots ever since I was a 5th grader. That's when I first started programming. I rarely have days where I don't think about like a motor or like a sprocket system. I just think about robots all the time. The reason why I make things is so that I can see somebody else smile. When I made the dice rolling machine, I felt like I was doing my purpose.
I lost horribly, and then I started practicing with her a few times, and then after like 1 or 2 times I was winning, she was like, wait a minute.
I was fine like the first 2 times that we played and she beat me, but after that I was just like, no, I have to win now. Like, this is so unfair.
The tables have turned. I just love spending time with Wendy because like, every time that I'm with her, I just feel like I'm in a very judge-free zone. Like, we'll be talking on the phone, she's like, I know exactly what you're thinking about.
I can like rant to her about like things that like bother me or things that I want to get out of my head, and she understands what I mean. It's like a battery that's getting recharged almost.
We're synchronized.
Shelly nació llena de luminosidad y nos lo transmitía a nosotros, ¿verdad? Que éramos bien así, bien apagadas, sí. Shelly nos daba muchas satisfacciones, muchas risas, mucha felicidad. Ella nos transmitía su felicidad. Está un poco para atrás. ¿Sientes pelo enfrente?
In elementary school, that was kind of like the time when things started getting ugly in Juarez. My dad, he was a businessman, you know? And so bad people found out about that, and Juarez just wasn't a safe place for him anymore. So he moved. The only ones that were left were my mom and my siblings. It's just kind of been us.
a mí me empezó a caer el 20 de que, ok, tengo esta niña, tiene este síndrome, tengo mis otros hijos que son todo mi apoyo y vamos a salir adelante y la vamos a cuidar mucho, la vamos a amar mucho y la vamos a ayudar a ella que salga adelante y ahora resulta que mi hija es toda una eminencia en la escuela. Sí, sí. ¿Está bien? Sí, seguro. Sí, no me quedo. No, me payaso. No. Bye.
I had to grow up really quickly. My dad was very machista. There was a lot of times where my dad was physically abusing not just me, but like my sister and my mom. When that happened to me, I saw it as a challenge. So we teamed up and we decided to send him away.
Female Hispanics is one of the lowest minority group in the field of engineering and science. I first met Wendy as a middle school student. She had so many projects going on at one time. I created an entire corner dedicated to her where she can leave her projects. They came to the point where she found an empty room on the campus and she created her own workspace, something that I've never seen any student do before. She actually outgrew this place.
Engineering is all about solving problems. My goal in life is to make some kind of impact. There's people who are suffering, and I need to do my part to help other people.
¿Y cuáles pinturas te pongo? Hoy las traigo en la mochila en el zipper de mero enfrente. ¿Los chiquitos? Sí. The other day for school, we were invited to a portfolio day. When I was getting critiqued by one of the professors, he was telling me that my art is very nice, but it's also very happy, and I should talk about my disability through my art. And I remember he was like, draw your hands, draw your hands. I was like, okay. I'm trying to make the colors of the chair like less saturated, and then like I'm gonna try to make myself and like my body like more vibrant with the colors, because like I just want to show that it is a part of me, but it doesn't mean that it defines me. So, yeah.
Ready to make Shelly into a cyborg. Essentially, this is a prosthetic enhancement that is not going to be attached to her. It's going to be attached to the wheelchair. And she's most familiar with joysticks, so I want her to control it with joysticks. This is her armrest, and then it's going to slide out. This was from prototype number 2. This is like, I didn't have any money, so I just got literally anything. Like the back, it's not even screws. I used like wire. She told me that the number 1 joystick felt kind of uncomfortable because it was kind of far away. Like if you would have to kind of reach like that. Linear slides, 1/8 aluminum rod, 1/4 aluminum rod, 1/16 aluminum rod, plastic tubing for the coil. I'm really excited about this project. The thing that keeps me moving is just like, she's gonna be able to hold that paint. She's gonna be able to hold that paint. Engineering is all about innovation. You're supposed to think of new ways of doing things. But what matters to me is getting it done for Shelly, you know? What I care about is if this is functional and she can use it next year.
I'm just really excited because one day I'll just be able to wrap that like plasma paint over there, and I feel like it's gonna be more independence for me.
I feel like we speak about Shelly's future as if it's like years away, and I'm pushing her to leave. I just think it's gonna help her grow a lot more as a person, as an individual, as an artist. I don't think I want to stay in El Paso, but as soon as I finish college, I want to come back, and maybe I'll be setting up my own gallery for my art.
Hey.
Hey man, what up?
What up? How was physics?
Yes.
Dude, honestly, same.
Hey yo, can I call you in like an hour?
Yeah, sure. You busy?
Or like tomorrow maybe?
It's all good, dude.
Cool beans. Bye.
Bye. We don't talk as much anymore, but that's just because she has stuff to do and I have stuff to do, and it just happens, you know? But I'm still gonna continue and build, and she's still gonna continue and draw. So the motor moves this axle, right? And this axle is connected to this chain and sprocket, which will then move another piece of the arm that I haven't printed yet. And then this one will have another thing. So this one will move like this, and then it'll have another one that moves like this, like this. I have the base done, and the makerspace is printing out the other pieces that I need. I'll put the cover over the bottom, right? And then there'll be a Lazy Susan on it, so it'll swivel on her wheelchair, so she can pull it out whenever she wants, and if she wants to get out of her chair, for example, she can just push it back in. I should be prepared for science fair.
Morning. First, let me congratulate you. You are the best of the best of each one of your divisions. Today, we're going to figure out who's the best of the best for our city.
I'm really nervous right now. It's very competitive. There's a lot of really good artists that have been in art for many years.
Here's how it's going to work. You're going to be judged by 2 judges at one time. You can only give your presentation once. Once you've been judged, those 2 judges will then score their sheets independently. They will not talk with each other about how they're going to do the scoring. Once you've been judged twice, you cannot leave. The only way that you can leave is if we ensure that we have all the judging sheets from your presentation. All right, now we're ready.
First place sweepstakes win in the category of robotics and intelligent machines, Wendy Sandoval.
Le preguntó a la maestra Cheli que si hablaba inglés. Porque ella no habla español. La maestra, porque le dije, mucho gusto, soy la mamá de Cheli. Y luego dijo, okay. Pero yo le preguntó a Cheli que si hablaba inglés, y pues Cheli sí. Se asustó mucho. Pensó que Cheli no hablaba inglés. Tiene que hablar.
So we'll have 45 students advancing to state. Maria Lopez from Montero Sagres. For Delgado. Appreciate your patience, and we'll see you and then here to the PC. All right, thank you.
My first 3 surgeries, I was very little, so I don't really remember any of them. But my 4th surgery was definitely my hardest. I just got to see like the toll that it took on my mom. She was just very strong and she pushed through everything. I tried to imitate that and be strong for her.
I've heard that the body doesn't detect velocity, instead it detects acceleration, which is why you don't feel anything when you're on the car, but when you're on a plane and you're accelerating downwards, that's why you feel like the butterflies in your stomach. Like, look at all of this. I don't even know what these are. They look like a whole bunch of tortillas stuck together, you know?
You are creating impact and you're thinking of someone else. Oftentimes not the case in high school. So what inspired you to really create, for others and for self?
I just wanted to be a good friend. And I even told her, I was like, I know that you can do a lot of things. I was just curious if you wanted this. And then she was like, heck yeah, I want an arm. Like she's a really good friend to me. And in high school, I really needed that. So I'm repaying her. Because essentially, I'm trying to make her a present that she's gonna like.
First time I ever go to a Comic-Con. I usually come to like these types of events where I can go sell my art. Oh. 15. Yes, sir. Yes. I like selling my art because it's what I want to do, like for a living eventually. Wendy really motivates me to do my thing, and not really mind what other people think because I know who I am. So I try to push myself. Because if I just refuse to step out of my comfort zone, I feel like it's just going to be very limiting and I'm not really going to grow.
I feel happy that I'm here, but I feel kind of sad. Everybody's old, and they're smart. And I just need to catch up. I just wish that I had more people to share it with. It's really hard for me to trust people. Sometimes you just need a person who you can tell everything to. And that person will be like, I totally get you. Yo, I need a hug. I'm sorry.
It's okay, I feel you.
No,
I've been sitting for 17 years.
Oh my God, did you hear her? to become a meme, and I need to.
All right. Okay, so that was Disrupted Borders. I hope everybody enjoyed that documentary short. Oh, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, a big round of applause to, you know, Wendy and Shelley. It's been a very, you know, tumultuous 2 years since we got all the footage and you know, edited and produced the film. Life has changed, you know, irrevocably for all of us. But just to give everybody an update, you know, Wendy matriculated at UTEP to study engineering, but she's taking a year off because virtual school has been really hard for her. And Shelley was awarded a full ride scholarship to University of Texas at Austin to study art, and that's where she is currently. She's living in Austin, and she is doing what she loves. She's, you know, studying art, representing, you know, our border city in the best way possible with all of her amazing artwork and creativity. So, okay, so the next segment is we wanted to introduce to you guys a project, a program that we launched in 2020, which is, you know, I think a really nice extension of this whole prosthetic accessory device that, you know, Wendy was making. We participated in a global challenge called the Make Able Challenge that was launched by PrintLab and Autodesk. PrintLab is a printing company from, I believe, based out of the UK. And I'm going to turn it over to our STEM instructor, Michael Nelson, to give you guys a little bit more background on what the Assistive Device Challenge is, and also to share a project that came out of that program with you.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, great. So my name is Michael Nelson. I'm the STEM Education Manager here at Fab Lab El Paso. My main duties and responsibilities, in addition to kind of helping out with all the fabrication projects, is working with the schools, working with kids, and working with our community and providing all kinds of awesome opportunities in digital fabrication. And so in 2019, after our first fundraiser, that some of you guys were a part of, thank you guys very much for that, we were able to host a series of workshops. But then, of course, the pandemic happened and we were kind of all thrown in limbo. We didn't know how to provide these workshop opportunities to the kids for creating an assistive device. But then we came across the Make Able Challenge. And the Make Able Challenge, like Kathy kind of mentioned, is was a curriculum for creating assistive devices using 3D printing. And so the company PrintLab partnered with Autodesk to provide basically a platform and a kind of curriculum on how to teach creating assistive devices. And so we wound up you know, seeing that opportunity, and wow, this is like a perfect opportunity to fulfill our commitment from that first fundraiser, and then have our students in our community be part of a larger challenge in the same kind of realm. And so what we wound up doing was providing a series of 8 workshops We sent out this information to all the different high schools in our region. We wound up working with 5 different campuses in the Socorro ISD district. And we had about 6 teams. We had 6 teams, about 25 students participate. We went through a grueling 8-week program where we covered engineering design processes, finding out information about our end user and empathizing with the end user, creating products and how to the whole engineering design background, product design, CAD modeling, 3D printing, a little bit of electrical engineering, how to program with Arduinos, and using Autodesk software suite to create assemblies and simulations of our devices. So throughout the 10-week program, we started in October 2020 and went all the way up into April 21. And so we had one team that we were super proud of. They were all working remotely. They didn't have any opportunities to meet with themselves, like in person, because of the pandemic. But this was a team that was made up of friends. And they all didn't actually go to the same school. We had a couple of students from El Dorado. We had one student that was going to the early college, and then another campus within Socorro ISD. And so they just wanted to kind of do a program with each other, and they wanted to kind of challenge themselves, and they're all into like robotics and kind of in engineering. And so they saw the opportunity, they went through the full program, and they submitted a project. And so initially they were trying to figure out, all right, cool, like it was really hard for them to find an end user. They didn't really know who to work for. So they were just thinking a bunch of different random ideas and how can we actually create something for just anybody that could be used for anybody with disabilities. Because the Make Able Challenge, the main criteria was to create an assistive device for a person with mobility issues in their hands. And so they were kind of thinking about different things from driving to keyboards to holding things, opening doors, etc. But then they found a end user with one of the students' family members. And so they designed they started working with this family member, and she loves to cook. She was actually having like tremors, and so it was kind of hard for her to hold items with her hands. And so the students began different iterations and different prototypes on what something could be, a simple little bracelet that would be able to help stabilize objects in their family members' arms. And so working with us throughout the series of the program, they started working on 3D models, they worked on their lo-fi prototypes, and then they actually were able to submit their final project to the Make Able Challenge in April of 2021. And so they we were super excited, we were super ecstatic to hear that the student team was actually on the short list of finalists for the International Print Lab Challenge. They were the top 5 teams within their category. And so they unfortunately didn't make it to the top tier and the top award within this challenge, but they did make it through our program, and they definitely took the team, the project highlights there. So we did like a short little ceremony for them. Of course, it was COVID, we were in and out of the lab. We did provide them with an ender. And then we did extend an opportunity for them to have a internship with us once kind of things were back in order. So they were awesome students. They're actually seniors right now, so they're getting ready to graduate. And they weren't able to make it today for the fundraiser because it's the middle of school day. So we didn't want to pull them out of school for that. But definitely, we're super excited. We're super proud of them. And this was kind of like the end result from our last fundraiser. And so now for this year's fundraiser, we're going to be hosting these workshop series again in the spring. The International Print Lab is having their 2nd year challenge. And this challenge now was opening it up to any disabilities, any mobility issues within the whole body. And so we are kind of developing that program again for that to be a little bit more open-ended and not just focusing on the hands. And so it was super interesting because a couple weeks ago, I was here at the lab all by myself one day. It was kind of like a cloudy day. And then I see somebody come up to the lab door, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I go open the door, and it was Juaísca. And so she came in and she was like, oh, hey, like I bike by this place all the time. And I've heard that you guys do 3D printing, and you guys like kind of, you could prototype and maybe like make some prosthetics and so, things like that. And I was like, yeah, actually we do. And that's super interesting that you came to the lab at this moment because we were setting up a fundraiser for the very same thing that you're asking about. And so what we decided to do is we met Juaísca. She's an amazing person. I'm going to hand it off to her to tell, to speak with you all a little bit about her amazing life and what she's into. And we are going to be using her as an end user for this year's round of competitions. And so hopefully we'll be able to have some high schoolers come up with some ideas on how to help Juaísca. And so Juaísca, are you ready to go? Yeah?
Yes, here.
All right, great. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Juaísca. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So my name is Juaísca Rodríguez. I'm originally from Venezuela and I have been living in El Paso since almost already 5 years. As Michael said, well, it was just by chance that I got over there and all came together, which is kind of a universal conspiracy or something like that to say. So, well, in order to be brief, I'm a high performance athlete. I was I'm former swimmer national team in Venezuelan Paralympics. I'm gonna read something really brief here. Okay, I was representing Venezuela for 4 years. I went to first South American Games in Santiago de Chile. Then I went to Pan American Games in Toronto, Canada, 2015. I made a Pan American record in 50 butterfly at that time. Already it's gone. Someone else has the record right now. Then I was representing Venezuela for 4 years in Spain, several races all around the world. Then when I came here to El Paso, I switched to triathlon, and that is exactly where my need of a prosthetic device is met. I have been competing in triathlon officially since 2019 when I went to the first national competition in Los Angeles. I got the second place at the time in 2019. Then I went this summer to the second national championship and I got the first place in my divisions, third place in overall. And so that is more or less my resume. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna share my screen. So just to show you. Suppose that I should be showing this picture while I'm speaking. Okay, this is my screen. Are you able to see my screen? So, okay. This is me on the bike. Can you hear me? So, this is me in the nationals this year. Me on the bike. My challenge when I'm cycling, well, I have already an adaptation, if you can see on my right arm. It works really good, but honestly, lately I have been feeling like I need something that gives me more control, like in some way to say in a normal position device. It has been a little bit challenging all the time riding on my aero bars, and I'm receiving all the shocks on my shoulders. So since a very long time, I have been wishing to develop a kind of device in order to have a best performance on my bike. So that was this is some of those activities that I used to do, climbing. So I just wanted to show you. This is another device that I have an adapted device for. Sorry, I'm a little bit lost on my presentation. This is a climbing ICE Act. Well, unfortunately, from this side you can't see, but this is an adapted ICE Axe device that I have for ice climbing. And well, here you can see here in this video when I'm riding my bike, I'm always in this position. So normally, well, this is in Santiago, and it's that was after the national championship. As you can see, I'm always riding on my having the support on my elbows, and after a very long rides, it's like very exhausting. And that's the reason I've been looking for the possibility of the stuff to have a device in order to have another position on my back and more comfortable. So I just came to Fab Lab at the right time, and
I think we might have lost Juaísca. She's frozen on my screen. Is she frozen on everyone else's too? Okay. All right. Well, yeah, Juaísca, unfortunately, she's having some work done at her home, so she had to go to a Starbucks to join us for this meeting, which is why there's a lot of background noise. And unfortunately, Microsoft Teams doesn't have noise suppression automatically, so we'll just wait for her to join us again. And in the meantime, we will kind of just talk a little bit about the fundraiser and also, you know, our plans for 2022 for the Make It Challenge.
Okay. Okay, here again. Sorry.
Hi, Juaísca. You are still frozen on my screen though, so you might want to try to exit and join again.
Okay. Do you want me to hang up?
Yes, hang up and come back. Hello.
Hi, hello.
Great.
So I lost connection for a little bit. So, well, I think this is a great opportunity to develop something that can help not just me, because there is a lot of people with similar needs outside in the high performance sport. And so I'm really excited with this opportunity. Let's see what comes up.
Thank you so much, Juaísca. We are definitely looking forward to working with you in the upcoming year for the Make Able Challenge part 2 for us. And I think that you're just such a personal and wonderful person, and you're just so willing to share your experiences and your challenges, and it's going to be really invaluable for the students participating in our assistive device program to be able to, you know, have someone that they can, you know, talk to, and someone that they can interact with, and, you know, so thank you so much for participating.
It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Okay, so thanks to all of your generosities in sponsoring and in participating in our fundraiser. We have raised close to $15,000 towards the Make Able Assistive Device Challenge and program for high school students. So we'll be able to launch this program immediately in the coming year. So, but that is all, you know, due to your support. And I just want to, over here at this moment, give a huge shout out to two of our platinum sponsors, Microsoft and El Paso Electric, thank you guys so much. Without you, these kinds of programs and opportunities, and really having the resources to be able to elevate, students in our community who are immensely talented and hardworking, but giving them the resources and a platform for them to shine on a international stage. I mean, that is huge. That is huge for our community. That's huge for the students. So I just wanted to, give everyone a huge thank you. Finally, I know we're kind of going a little bit short on time, which, I think is, it's okay because we're almost at the end anyways of our fundraiser program. I wanted to highlight another project that we have been working on. It's also a binational project sponsored by Microsoft. It's the binational humanoid robot project that we have been working on with FabLab Juarez. So we started working on this project as part of the Bridge Accelerator program, but unfortunately, because of the many disruptions of the pandemic, we were unable to present our humanoid robot in person with FabLab Juarez. So, we hope that in the coming year in 2022, we'll have another opportunity to have an in-person event where, individuals will be able to interact organically with both humanoid robots, and maybe the robots will be able to have a dialogue or a conversation with each other. But in the meantime, we have a little demo recorded for you of our humanoid robot, John. So I'll screen share and I will play this recording of our humanoid robot.
John, wake up.
Hello, Fab Lab.
What is a Fab Lab?
Fab Lab is an initiative originated out of MIT's Center for Bits and Atoms, set up to democratize access to digital fabrication tools and equipment, as well as foster innovation and provide educational opportunities for their local communities. There is currently about 1,700 fabrication laboratories around the world in 120 countries.
What do Fab Labs do?
Fab Lab's goal is to conquer the world. I mean, create a better world by democratizing access to digital fabrication tools such as 3D printers and other fabrication machines, to help the local community bring their ideas to life, I myself being a perfect example.
What is digital fabrication?
Digital fabrication is a design and manufacturing workflow, where digital data directly drives manufacturing equipment to create almost anything we can dream of.
How old is Fab Lab El Paso?
Fab Lab El Paso was established and has been innovating in our region since 2013, but the first lab originated out of MIT in 2001.
What are you?
I am a 3D printed humanoid robot, based on the open source input platform. I'm not fully constructed yet. My creators fear I might conquer the world. That's why I don't have a full body, yet.
What is 3D printing?
3D printing is like 2D printing, but 3D. Joke. 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, is a process of making three-dimensional solid objects from a digital file, layer by layer.
Why were you created?
I was constructed by the handsome staff of Fab Lab El Paso as part of the Bridge Accelerator, a binational program for startups and manufacturers on both sides of the El Paso and Ciudad Juarez borderplex. Our sister lab, Fab Lab Juarez, also
What can you do?
In this form, I am able to process speech, recognize questions, and am able to detect and track faces, colors, and shapes. When I get my arms, I would like to try out powerlifting.
There's a lot of people watching right now. What do we say?
It was a pleasure speaking with you all. Thank you for participating in this year's fundraiser for Fab Lab El Paso. Thanks to your contribution, I might finally finish my true form. JK, your contribution will assist bringing awesome programming to students in our region and help those in need of assistive devices.
John, go to sleep.
Goodbye, for now. Goodbye, for now.
No.
All right, so that was a recording and honestly an award-winning film from our STEM instructor, Michael Nelson. He obviously had, a lot of fun recording this video for you guys. And of course, John is available at Fab Lab El Paso. So for any of you guys who want to come and check out our humanoid robot in person, please feel free to do so. And I want to give a special thank you and shout out to JJ Childress, who is the Community Engagement Manager for Microsoft TechSpark. He's been doing a phenomenal job in this region and in other TechSpark regions, spearheading community engagement programs and ensuring that there are opportunities, endemic opportunities for growth and development in technology within our communities. So thank you very much, JJ, for all of your support for the fundraiser and also for the humanoid robot project. So as we near the end of our time with all of you, I wanted to give one last kind of gift to everyone to be able to explore on their own after the end of the event. This was something that originally we wanted to guide everyone through, but I think that because the event is already, have gone on for an hour and a half, and I know that everyone is very busy in the middle of a workday, I think we will just give everyone the link so that they would be able to explore it on their own. However, I will screen share and let everyone know what exactly the link that they will be receiving, excuse me, where that will be directed to. So just give me one moment. Oh, okay. So my esteemed colleague has already entered the link into the chat. So thank you very much for that. So if you will click on the link, augmentelpaso.com, with the URL that comes, the URL comes after it, vt/fablab, it will pull up in your browser a 360 virtual tour of our Fab Lab. So for those of you who have either never visited or have visited us many years ago at a different location, or if you just want to see what the latest and greatest is at our makerspace, please go to, excuse me, go to that link and you will be able to walk through the entire facility, click on hotspots, and interact with all of our staff in virtual form. So with that, I will once again give a huge thank you to all of you guys. It takes, a village to accomplish what we have accomplished over the past 7 years. Since the start of the pandemic in 2020, we've produced over 5,000 pieces of PPE for our community here, and then even more for the community in Juarez. It's just such an amazing and incredible journey to be able to work alongside so many talented individuals and dedicated individuals, and a lot of visionary organizations and institutions who are really paving the path for a brighter future for us and also for the next generation. So I'm so sorry. I have this like cough that I've had for like 3 months, and I just hope that, you know, in 2022, we will have more opportunities to see everyone in person and to collaborate and partner on more great initiatives and programs and opportunities. So with that, I will open it up to any questions or comments before we end the meeting. And please feel free to just unmute yourself if you would like.
Kathy and team, the Fab Lab team, this is Barbara Walker. I would just love to thank you for all the incredible work you all do. And I think that we're right at an inflection point where our kids will get it, our community will get it. It's a little bit hard to explain what you guys do. So these videos really, really help people focus that are not involved in our industry. So muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Barbara's been a long-time supporter ever since we, opened the lab 7 years ago, and she's also a member of our board of directors. And she is, I believe, the regional or the territory accounts manager for Cisco in our region. So she's just all around, just an amazing mujer and doing amazing things to connect, all the women in tech in our community. So thank you so much, Barbara.
Kathy, I want to just also echo and be very thankful for all the effort that you guys have done. It's amazing. And also thank you from Fab Lab Juarez for helping us start our Fab Lab and for just walking us through the process, allowing us to build, something we didn't even know how to do. So thank you for that handholding and for the continued binational, initiatives that we're doing together. We're proud to be your partner. Congratulations to all the team.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. We definitely feel the same way. I mean, I think it's a two-way learning process. We learn a lot from you guys as well, and all the amazing innovation and programs that are happening at Technology Hub. So definitely, it's a two-way street for just learning and resource sharing. So thank you so much, Ricardo, for your partnership as well over the years. Okay, well, I think just because we're almost 10 minutes over, let's, thank you for the reminder, Michael, but I know that some of our guests already had to leave, but for those who are still here, if you could please turn on your camera, I'd love to get a gallery view of everyone who is still here at the end, just to get a together mode with everyone. So if you could, please turn on your camera, and we'll take a really quick screenshot. Thank you for reminding me, Michael. I totally would have ended without taking a photo. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go first with our large gallery view, and then we'll take a together mode. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, just one more in case I was blinking, which I usually am. 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. And then we'll take a quick together mode photo. All right, okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I know our event has almost, run over by 10 minutes. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and your busy schedule to join us. And we hope to see you in 2022. Happy holidays and enjoy the rest of the year. Bye-bye.